Welcome to our course, Practical Cybersecurity Bootcamp. Today, we'll explore reconnaissance. But first, we need to understand the five phases of hacking, which provide a structured framework for understanding how hackers approach their targets. Five phases of hacking. Picture our journey through the world of hacking as a thrilling adventure. We start with phase one, reconnaissance, our information gathering mission. Just like a spy gathering critical intel before a high stakes operation, hackers collect data to get to know their target inside out. Next up is scanning, the detective phase. Here, hackers become digital detectives, actively probing the target system. Imagine it as checking doors and windows to uncover those potential entry points into the target's world. Phase 3, gaining access, our point of no return. Here, hackers make their daring move, breaking into the target system with the precision of a master locksmith. Now, phase 4, maintaining access, the stealth phase. Hackers work silently, staying undetected, like skilled agents, retaining control of the compromised system without leaving a trace. And lastly, phase 5, covering tracks, our clean getaway phase. After achieving their mission goals, hackers leave no evidence behind, just like a master thief erases any trace of their pieces. In conclusion, these five phases are the hacker's roadmap, revealing the secrets of their craft. Ethical hackers employ these phases to identify vulnerabilities and enhance security, while malicious hackers misuse them for unauthorized activities. But here's the twist. In this course, we are diving deep into the first three phases, which are fundamental to penetration testing. The last two phases, more suited to advanced red teaming exercises, are like the hidden chapters of our adventure. Intriguing, but for another day. Welcome, cyber adventurers, to the exciting world of reconnaissance. Imagine it as the opening scene in a hacker's epic journey. This is where we embark on our quest to gather crucial information before the hacking adventure truly begins. Reconnaissance, often referred to as recon, sets the stage for the entire hacking operation. Think of it as the treasure map, helping us understand our target's layout, vulnerabilities, and potential weak spots. But why is reconnaissance so vital? You might wonder. Well, think of it this way. Just as a skilled military strategist studies the lay of the land before launching a mission, hackers gather intelligence about their targets to make well informed decisions. It's the difference between navigating through a dark forest blindly and having a map with a clear path. Now let's dig deeper into the world of reconnaissance. It comes in two distinct flavors, each with its unique essence: passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance. These are the secret weapons in our cyber arsenal and we'll unveil their mysteries as we continue our journey. Welcome to the world of passive reconnaissance, the art of gathering secrets without ever leaving a trace. Think of it as being a digital Sherlock Holmes, observing your target from afar without them ever suspecting a thing. In this quiet, unobtrusive approach, hackers collect information without directly engaging with the target. It's like being a digital ghost, silently moving through the shadows of the web. Now let's unveil the secret arsenal of tools and techniques used by ethical hackers and cyber detectives to uncover the mysteries of their targets, all without making a sound. Our first technique is target validation. Imagine it as confirming the X on your treasure map. We use tools like Whois, NSLOOKUP, dig, and view DNS. Next, finding subdomains. It's like discovering hidden chambers in a grand old castle. We peek behind the scenes by checking certificate transparency logs and using tools like cert.sh and Subfinder. Fingerprinting is our digital Sherlock magnifying glass. It's about identifying the technologies and software used by our target. Tools like Webalizer, WhatWeb, and BuildWith help us decode these digital tools. Open source intelligence, or OSINT, is our treasure trove of information. We gather data from public sources like websites, social media, and online databases. Tools like Maltego, the Harvester, Census, Have I Been Pwned, and Google Document are our trusted companions on this journey. And now, social media reconnaissance is our way of reading between the lines on the target's social profiles. We dive into platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, dissecting profiles, connections, and posts to build a vivid picture of our target. Stay tuned because in an upcoming part of this video, we'll put these tools and techniques into action, revealing the artistry behind the science of passive reconnaissance. But why do we go the passive route? It's all about stealth, discretion, and flying under the radar. Think of it as peeking through a window without a single curtain twitching. This information is gold, helping us craft our next move without alerting our target. Before we continue, a reminder: ethical hacking and reconnaissance should always be conducted with proper authorization and for legitimate purposes. Unauthorized snooping around can cross legal and ethical boundaries, and we are here to stay on the right side of the digital law. Welcome to the dynamic realm of active reconnaissance, where hackers roll up their sleeves and dive headfirst into the digital battlefield. It's like switching from stealthy spies to fearless explorers. As we interact directly with target systems and networks to unearth hidden treasures, active reconnaissance techniques are the heart pounding actions of cyber adventure. It's like seeking hidden passages, where we perform tasks such as port scanning to spot open doors, banner grabbing to review the software and versions in use, and probing for vulnerabilities that may be lurking. But hold your breath. We'll save the thrilling details of these active reconnaissance tools and techniques for our upcoming vulnerability assessment and scanning section. Get ready to equip your cyber arsenal as we explore these dynamic tools and unleash their power. To recap, passive reconnaissance was our silent observer, providing us with valuable insights without alerting the target. Now we have unveiled active reconnaissance, where we roll up our sleeves and dive into the heart of the digital action. These insights, collected through both passive and active means, are the foundation of our ethical hacking journey. Thank you for joining me on this exhilarating journey through the world of reconnaissance. In the upcoming portion of our course, we'll take these concepts to the next level with practical demonstrations showing you how these techniques are applied in the real world. Get ready to become a true cyber adventurer. In this video, we will look at the practical demonstration of various tools used for passive reconnaissance. Our first topic is target validation. The first tool we'll cover in target validation is Whois tool. Whois is a tool used for target validation in cybersecurity. It provides information about a domain's owner, registration date, and more, helping confirm the existence and ownership of a domain during reconnaissance. Who is a great tool for target validation. We can look up help for most tools in Linux with the tool name and then the -h or minus help switch. This way, even if you're not familiar with the tool, you can learn how to use it. Whois is a very simple tool to use. We type whois and then the domain name we want to find information about. It shows us all the information regarding a domain name, such as the name servers, domain owner information, and much more. This way, we can learn more about the target without interacting with it. So we have Microsoft.com as an example domain here. So we have a lot of information here, like the name server, the domain belongs to, the domain name, registry domain ID, registrar information, DNSSEC information, domain status, and then there's a big disclaimer here, which can be hidden using different switches. And now if we go below, we have a lot of information regarding the domain admin, the tech admin name, and all the information about it, like email, phone, country, city. So as you can see, this tool can give us a lot of passive information about our target. Our next tool is Dig. Dig is a DNS query tool for target validation. It retrieves essential DNS information, including IP addresses and records, aiding in target confirmation during reconnaissance. Dig is a DNS lookup utility that is native to Linux command line. Dig helps ensure accurate and secure DNS related information aiding in target validation and security assessment. So first of all, we can use the man command, which stands for manual in Linux, to understand more about this tool. We have the short description, the how to about it, how to use it, the syntax, and then a description. And then we can also scroll down to see more information about this tool. Now we will look at an example of Dig with Tesla.com. So Dig is a very concise tool. So we'll look at each information one by one. So first of all, from top, we have header information, which shows us the QU identification status and flags. Then we also have the answer section, which is the most important. Shows us the DNS reports, the type of reports. For example, in this case, we have the A report, which means IP4 address. And we have all the IPs, different IPs that are registered with Tesla.com. And then at the bottom, we have the query time and the server information, which we have used to extract this information. In most cases, it is our local DNS server, but in some cases, we can also configure various other name servers to fetch this information, such as Google Name Server, OpenDNS, and Cloudflare. In summary, Dig can help us understand and validate our target pattern during the passive reconnaissance phase. Next passive reconnaissance tool is NSLookup. NSLookup is a DNS query tool for target validation, confirming a target's DNS configuration during reconnaissance. Our next tool is NSLookup. This tool is available in both Windows and Linux, and it is very similar to Dig, which is just native to Linux. So we have very concise information here. We have all the registered IP addresses for the domain tesla.com, and also our name server, which we are using to extract this information. UDNS is another online tool for target validation, offering DNS-related services and aiding in verifying a target domain's existence and history during reconnaissance. This tool has many features which help us in our passive reconnaissance tools. Now we will look at viewdns.info online tool. This tool is very useful for us for our passive reconnaissance because it has a lot of tools to do passive reconnaissance on our target. Some key features are IP location finder. We can actually check the location for our target IP. We can check the IP address. A single domain can have many IP addresses attached to them in their lifetime. So we can also check that. We can also check the DNS information. We can check the email information. There are also some tests for firewall. We can run a trace route on our target. And in this example, we also have a port scanning. This port scan is beneficial for us because we don't have to interact with the target. We just have to use this service to give us the port information, which ports are open on our target. As we can see, we have scanned Tesla.com and we see out of the common ports that only HTTP and HTTPS services are open. This was a brief demonstration of some target validation tools for passive reconnaissance. Our next topic is finding subdomains. Subdomains are additional parts of a domain that come before the main domain, creating a hierarchical structure. For example, in this support.wix.com, support is a subdomain of wix.com. In this phase, we aim to find subdomains, which can reveal valuable insights into the target's infrastructure, potentially uncovering additional entry points, vulnerabilities, and assets. To find subdomains, various techniques and tools are employed. The first tool we'll cover is crt.sh. crt.sh is a web service and database that tracks digital security certificates, offering information on issuance, domains, and subdomains, contributing to certificate transparency and web security. Cert.sh tool typically presents a list of digital security certificates associated with a domain, which helps us in finding subdomains. With experience, we learned some subdomains are much more interesting than the others. For example, in this case, we are looking at starbucks.com. And as we can see, there are a lot of interesting subdomains associated with starbucks.com, like portal.starbucks.com. And then we have assets avatars, code load. This information can help us in identifying potential vulnerabilities for these subdomains and our main target. Our next tool for finding subdomains is Subfinder. Subfinder is a powerful open source tool used for subdomain discovery during the reconnaissance phase of cybersecurity assessment. It scans the web to identify subdomains associated with a target domain, providing valuable information for security professionals and ethical hackers. So now we will look at the Subfinder tool. We will use the Subfinder -H option to list the options. We have a short description for this tool. The usage is very simple. We just use the Subfinder tool name and then a flag. The most common flag to use is to use the -D switch for domain name. And we can also use the -DL switch for a list of domain names in a text file. And then we can also explore other options. And now we will look at a practical example. Subfinder -D, and then we use the domain starbucks.com. And after some time, we have a list of domains. So we always need to remember that some subdomains are more interesting than others. Not every subdomain will be vulnerable or interesting. So subdomains like test, we start from test, admin, tech. These are very interesting. And when we go into our exploitation phase, we need to look at those. So in this video, we demonstrated how we can find the subdomains for our target. Next topic is fingerprinting. The primary goal is to gather information that helps in understanding the target's technology stack, which can include web servers, content management systems, programming languages, and more. Fingerprinting is critical for targeting vulnerabilities and selecting the right exploits or security measures during testing. Accurate fingerprinting can lead to more effective and efficient security assessments. Our first tool is Webalizer. Webalizer is a web browser extension and online tool designed for technology identification and website analysis. This assists security professionals and researchers in understanding the technology stack of websites they encounter. Now we will look at a practical demonstration of Webalizer tool. So you can install this extension on any browser, and on we are testing it here on Firefox. So whenever we load a website, for example, we are testing apply.starbucks.com, the Webalizer extension will extract all the information about different languages, frameworks, and softwares used by the website. So for example, we have the web server, which is Nginx, and it is also being used as a reverse proxy. We have the website is using Bootstrap. We have and it is running on an Amazon Web Service, which is our PaaS platform as a service. Then there's another example. Here we are looking at Boston University, and when we load the university homepage, the Webalizer extension will start extracting the information. And as you can see, we have CMS WordPress. WordPress is this website is running on WordPress, MySQL database, and it is also running on Nginx. And it is also showing us the version, which is very critical for exploitation. And it is basically because it's WordPress, it is using PHP language as its main programming language. It also has a paid subscription for more information, but this is enough for security assessments. Our next tool is BuildWith. BuildWith is a web technology profiling tool that allows users to discover the technology stack and services used by websites. It offers insights into web frameworks, content management systems, analytics tools, advertising networks, and more. BuildWith is a valuable resource for security professionals. Now we will look at practical demonstration of BuildWith tool. This tool is very similar to Webalizer, But if you want to look at more details about our target, we can use this tool. Weblaser just gives us a concise information, and in most cases, that is enough. But sometimes we need to understand more about the technologies we are dealing with. So this tool is good for that. You can see the content delivery system. It is using Amazon Web Services. This is the same domain, starbucks.com. So using multiple tools also helps us in verifying that what information we are getting is right. So it is using JavaScript, it is like common on websites, the encoding. Okay, we see that it is also it's using Nginx, which is confirmed now because it's also what Weblaser showed us. And then it also is helpful if you want to see the company information. So that helps us in OSINT. It has we can gather different information about the company and use it in our assessments. Company contacts, that is very important. We can approach these contacts and do some kind of social engineering on them. Our next tool is WhatWeb. WhatWeb is an open source website fingerprinting tool used for identifying and analyzing the technology stack of websites. It scans web pages and analyzes HTTP headers and HTML to detect web technologies, content management systems, server software, and more. WhatWeb is a valuable resource for security professionals and penetration testers. So now we will have a practical demonstration of WhatWeb. So first we will list the options, the usage, which we can explore further. So this tool is very simple. We just need to use the command WhatWeb and then the URL name. So we use the domain, Boston University domain for searching. And this tool is a very concise tool. So first of all, as you can see, we have a lot of information, important information, and concise in a concise manner. We have the country name. It is using Google Analytics. The web server is Nginx and its version, its IP address. It is using jQuery, JavaScript. It also shows us the header for the title page, and we can see it is using CloudFront, WordPress. So we can see that these tools are quite helpful for target fingerprinting. Though this was a brief look at fingerprinting. The OSINT or open source intelligence base in cybersecurity is a systematic process of gathering information from publicly available sources and open resources to gain insights into the target's digital presence and potential vulnerabilities. The OSINT phase is an essential step in reconnaissance, as it equips security professionals with the knowledge needed to make informed decisions during subsequent phases of security assessments and penetration testing. Some of the tools and techniques we have observed before also come under the umbrella of OSINT. Malteco. Malteco is a powerful open source intelligence and forensics tool for information gathering, data visualization, and link analysis. It is a valuable tool for cyber investigations and OSINT activities. The Malteco is built in Kali Linux. So we will open Malteco. The first time we open, we are welcomed by this page. And this shows us many versions of Malteco, which are suited for big enterprises and small businesses. But we'll select the community edition, which is free. And for that, you'll have to register it on their website. So this is just a fast forward of the registration process. It is very simple. You just have to give some emails and contact details. And after we are done with the process, we are now welcomed by the main interface. So first we'll select a new graph. And now Multiple is actually not not a simple tool, but a comprehensive framework for open source intelligence. So as you can see, we have a lot of entities. So first we need a domain, and we can search for domains, phone numbers, persons, a lot of things. This is a very advanced tool, but this is just a small introduction of this tool. So because we're going to search a domain, we'll select a domain from the entity palette from here, and the placeholder name is multiple.com, so we'll change that. Yes. You can double click on it or change it from the site. And so our example domain is bu.edu, and now we'll start the scan. So, but how we start the scan is by using our transform button from here. Transforms are basically the resources multiple users to do the scanning, and it has a library of these sources. You can use the default ones or you can add multiple sources, but some of them require credential and other things. For example, in this case, it is asking for uh, some details for some of the resources. For example, this tool is deeply. So now we'll add the target property in here and run it. So it will give uh, some errors, but if you press it, and some user agreements will have to accept before starting the scan. So after we are done with it, and accept the requirements, we start the scan. And again, it will show us some errors for the some of the transforms and plugins. They require some plugins require some plugins require licenses. So that's why. Okay, now we're getting the results of our scan. So uh, Multiple is very powerful tool because it shows us a lot of information just from a uh, s- single piece of uh, single piece of data. We have the DNS name servers. We have documents relating to the domain. We have different subdomains. As we can see, this is a lot of data. And when we zoom in, we can even see the gifts related to this, maybe posted by the university students or employees, different IP addresses of the machine attached to these, connected to this domain. So we can do a comprehensive research on any of these targets. But because we are in the passive recon phase, we're just collecting information. We're just looking for those interesting targets we can exploit later. Not everything is vulnerable, but the more information you collect, the more easier it is to identify vulnerable targets. So we have some AWS Amazon Web Service instances, and this is, for example, this is a whois report for bu.edu domain. So because this is just a brief intro, we won't go into detail, and this is just you can see if I give the hamburger analogy, it is just a bread. When we get to the exploitation phase, we'll get to the meat of the stuff, and then we'll realize how important it is to collect information and passively and actively, and it's all about information. And then from within that information, we'll find the vulnerable points which we can target, and that will help us into exploiting the target. So we have this different information here. These documents, some of these may be interesting, some of these might be sensitive documents. So this was just a short overview of the tool. But the thing to remember is that just using this tool, just from within this tool, we can collect a lot of data. So now we will uh, do the search on another domain, which is starbucks.com, and we use all transforms. Again, it will show us a list of required inputs, which we will oblige. And because it's a limited version, it will show us some errors because of the limitations. And but the scan will run on the back. And as we can see, we have a lot of information here. So just because this is a big company, we have so much information. All the parent companies in different regions, it is showing us those entities, the DNS servers who have the domain name, the different domains in different regions, documents relating to Starbucks, and we can see that we have email addresses relating to starbucks.com. These put to the employees. So that is very interesting information. We also have some employee names, and this is very crucial for us in information gathering stage because we can do more OSINT, more passive reconnaissance on these employees. We can do social engineering on them to get more data. We can use their credentials for social engineering. Well, we can use their identities for social engineering. So people don't realize that, uh, but this information is very crucial for cybersecurity expert. And this is just passive information, the information that is available every day. We also have some phone numbers. So, but the impact of this information is uh, much greater than people realize. And in a further demonstration, when we go to the census tool and have a game point, we will also show how to use this information from which we have collected from Martago to do some exploitation. Just a brief overview of how we what we can do with this information. We won't do the actual damage, the actual exploitation until we reach the exploitation phase of our the meaty stage of our risks. At this point, during the passive recon phase, the OSINT phase, we just need to focus on collecting as much information as we can on the target. Only then, after uh, having a lot of information about target, only then we can find the avenues to through which we can exploit the target. So this was just a brief intro of Multigo tool. It is a very comprehensive tool. So I urge the students to look into it, read about it, watch YouTube videos about it to explore it more because just developing expertise on this single tool can make you a very good cybersecurity professional. The Harvester. The Harvester is an open source posting tool designed for gathering email addresses, subdomains, and other sensitive information from publicly available sources. It supports a variety of search engines, social media platforms, and other sources. So now we will look at the brief intro of the Harvester tool. So first we will do the -8 switch to show the help section. Harvester is used to gather open source intelligence on a company or domain. It can show us public IPs, emails, subdomains. So we can use the same -t switch we used in Softfinder to find subdomains. We can take screenshots. We can look for DNS servers, DNS resolution file names. So now we'll start a search on starbucks.com, and -l is used to list out the number of outputs, and we are using the Bing search engine. So Bing has found on Bing, it has only found those two subdomains. So we'll do another search, but this time we'll use the DuckDuckGo search engine. We can also use Google, but the Harvester sometimes has issues with Google. So this is a better result. We have found 16 subdomains, but no email than IPs. Census. Census is a network security tool and search engine that scans and analyzes the internet to help users discover exposed services, open ports, and potential security issues across the global internet landscape, aiding in threat intelligence and cyber security assessments. Now we will look at another passive recon tool for processing, which is Census. Census is a network security tool and threat intelligence tool which scans the whole internet for exposed services, systems, and ports for different domains. and different machines. Not just website, but machines which are exposed on the internet, like servers, even security cameras, everything which is exposed on the internet can be found by this tool. There's also a popular alternative of this tool, which is Shodan, but it requires login, sign up, and subscription. So Census is currently a better tool than Shodan. So just searching for Georgetown University website, we have found these machines. So basically, these are the machines which are related to this, and we can also filter our search. We can look for login pages, network devices. So now we will look at the login page, and it is showing us many websites which it found to be login pages. We can also do a search on starbucks.com, and it has found many systems connected to starbucks.com. And again, we can look for login pages for remote access. These two things are very interesting because we can do different credential attacks on login pages. We can do credential attacks on remote access, uh, and this way we can exploit the machines. So, for example, we'll look at this machine, and as you can see, it has three services open. It has SSH, Secure Shell, which we can connect to, and 80 and 443 portals for websites. So further during the exploitation, we can actually try exploiting this machine by doing a brute force on SSH. We can try to connect to the websites. So as we can see, just by using passive recon tools, we can find a lot of stuff that is very interesting and that can potentially be vulnerable. And all of this time, we didn't have to interact with our target. We just use something. So as you can see, we're connected to this machine, which is basically this is probably a website which allows the licensed stores or vendors to connect to the Starbucks network with their emails. So, for example, just for brief demonstration, we can try Multico, and we had some emails we found earlier during the Multico demonstration, which were connected to the Starbucks organization. So we can use them here. During the passive recon stage, we don't try to interact with the target. So this is it's just a demonstration for the students. And because at this stage, it is not recommended to try, try this. And also, again, this can be unethical. We always need proper permission to uh, test a website. But just for proof of concept, we're gonna run the scan, and we're gonna use those emails to make sure that this information is legit. These tools are legit tools, and they show us legit information which we can use in our exploitation. So again, like before in the demonstration, it will show us some, because this is limited, it will show us some errors, but uh, like it has a total limit also because it is full. But the scan will run, yeah, on the back, and after the scan is completed, we'll have our emails which we can use. As we can see now, we have the emails and the scan is complete. So we'll try using one of the emails. So this email, Marorama SW at the rate of Starbucks.com. We copy it, and now we'll go to the website and we'll try it. Again, this is not recommended. Uh, Even if you're doing an authorized pen test, we should not interact with the target during the recon phase. This is just for proof of concept, and also because this is unethical, because we do not have the permission. So we can actually see that it has sent the email was legit, and it has actually sent the code to the vendor. We can also analyze the services, but this was just a small demo of the tool. Have I been conned? Have I been conned? HIVP is an online service that checks if email addresses and passwords have been compromised in data breaches, aiding in OSINT activities and online security assessment. Now we will look at a brief demonstration of Have I been conned tool. This tool is mostly used to check email address or password breaches. So if your email address is in any password breach, we can in any security breach, we can actually look for it. So we'll actually use again the emails we found in the Multigo tool from the Multigo tool, and now we will use it to check if they have been part of a security breach. And if we found any pawnage, in this case we didn't found any pawnage, but we'll try another email. So if if we find an email that has been exposed in a security breach, it can help us a lot because we can actually the user might not know that, and we can actually look for that data available on dark web or the internet, and we can use the credentials for that email, the password. For example, uh, this was present in a data breach in 2018. So if the user has not changed the password, we can actually log into the account. So that is actually very scary, as you can see. And again, we will check another email from Starbucks, and again, this is also good, but we found one email. And this was just a brief demo of this tool. Google Docs. Google Docs refer to the use of advanced search operators and queries in Google search to discover sensitive or hidden information on websites. Security professionals and hackers utilize this to identify vulnerabilities, expose databases, login pages, and other potentially insecure elements on the web. Get a demo of Google Docking or Google hacking. Google hacking. So, for example, this is our domain for which we want to search about. So, Google hacking is basically using different search syntaxes given by Google. I will also share the link at the end of this video. So, for example, this minus minus greater than sign is used to add comments. Students actually who are actually familiar with HTML might know this that it's used for comments. So our first search syntax is site. We can also do this on different search engines such as DuckDuckGo. So site static.bu.edu. What this does is that it will look for all subdomains for Boston University. Static means all. So any subdomain before .bu.edu will be found by it. So as you can see, this is very powerful. And many of the tools we use actually do this. For example, Subfinder, Harvester, they use similar methods to find subdomains for us. We can do the same for starbucks.com, and it will show us all the subdomains for starbucks.com. So as we can see, this helps us in narrowing down our search. And it's very powerful because we can actually filter Google searches to get the desired results. So now we have every subdomain that is related to starbucks.com. Try to Now we can actually add another search syntax which is in URL. And what it does is that it looks at the URL uh, look at the URLs. It looks at the URLs on the internet, and for example, the query section, and We can give, for example, in this case, it will look for the admin query in the URLs uh, within the Starbucks subdomains. So any Starbucks subdomain has admin query in their URL, it will find. So we can see just by using two search syntaxes, we have found some interesting information like a form. And these forms are very crucial because we can do credential stuffing. Uh, you can use brute force on them. Whenever we have a form or a login page, we can attack it. So as we can see that it has found admin in the URL, and that is very important. Now we will do the same for Boston University, and you can see that it has found the admin query in the URL for all of these sections. All of these search works. Again, we have this interesting page, blocks sign up. So as you might have understood by now, that just by doing passive reconnaissance, we can find so much interesting information that is just available on the internet, but not for the common people. You have to use special techniques to find these hidden gems. So again, we have a admin ads.php file. This could be useful to us now. This is very interesting. We have a sign up page for mailing list. Some of that might be vulnerable, some of them might not be. But the point is that using the search syntaxes, we can find interesting information on the internet. Now we have enhanced our search by adding .php because most of the sites use WordPress. So that way we can find the admin.php page of WordPress, which if it has default credentials, we can actually log into that. So now we have a login page for the ship.u.edu subdomain for Boston University, and we can try record credentials on it, and those have not worked, but we can try different default credentials, or we can try to crack it off in another way. But at this point, uh, it is more than enough to find these interesting web pages regarding our target, relating to our target, which we can use in our exploitation stage. Anything that is interesting, that is potentially vulnerable, we can use that to exploit out. We can use another search syntax, which is in text. This search syntax will look for the word burger within the body text of every web page associated with Starbucks subdomains. Another search syntax, which is in title. And what it does is that it will look for the search string we give it in the title of every web page. So it will look for the word copy in the title of every web page associated with any subdomain of Starbucks.com. You can see Starbucks Coffee Company, the coffee of the.com. Each title contains the word coffee. So now we will use another search syntax, which is file type, and this is very important. We can actually look for different file types. So in this case, every PDF associated to the subdomain of Starbucks.com, we can find it. And this can include some sensitive information. For example, this is Starbucks distributor guidelines. So these are not important, but some of them can be very important. Like for example, this is instruction for completing the landlord registration. Now we use the same index search syntax to look for password pages. And as we can see, we have login pages associated with Starbucks.com. There is subdomain help desk. So All of these login pages can be potentially vulnerable, and we can do password spraying or credential stuffing on it. So just by using simple search syntaxes provided by Google, we can find a lot of information about that can be potentially vulnerable about our target. We can find different avenues from which we can exploit our target. So, for example, this is a supplier's subdomain for Starbucks. So, if we have registered email, the username and password will be sent to us. So, this is a potentially vulnerable subdomain because there are some attacks within the man in the middle attack category that can be used to compromise this. But at this point, we just have to remember that this is an interesting information. Again, there's another page which is basically a hacking platform, bug bounty platform, hacker one. And on this platform, there are different vendors which registered on it, and you can actually legally legally find vulnerabilities on their websites, and you will get paid for it. And it is interesting for us because uh, every vendor lists some a scope, the number of subdomains and IP addresses which they want you to test. So those that can be interesting amount of information for us because we can actually look at those targets they want us to test. And if we are an unethical hacker, we can actually look at the targets they don't want us to test that they might be vulnerable. So we can exploit those. And there are also some vulnerabilities that might be posted by other users on this platform. So we can also search for those. You can see there's a long description here, which we can read and find vulnerable points, vulnerable paths through which we can exploit our by. And this is all without ever interacting with our target at this point. This is all just passive recognition. But finally, I promised at the start of the video that there is a list available, a cheat sheet, which we can use to understand Google search syntaxes and what syntax does what. It is explained in this cheat sheet. So, for further understanding, we can look at these and enhance our knowledge about this technique. There is another list we can look at, which is the 1000 best Google Docs list. And this is a comprehensive list for understanding each and every type of Google search syntax. So, as you can see, it has the most common ones here in bold. And then there is a comprehensive list with definition. This is just like multi-go and census. This uh, technique using Google search syntax is crucial to become a good penetration tester. So that was all for our posting section. Social media reconnaissance. The social media reconnaissance phase in cybersecurity involves the systematic collection and analysis of information from various social media platforms to gain insights into an individual, organization, or target. This phase is particularly valuable for understanding an entity's online presence, connections, behavior, and potential vulnerabilities. Social media reconnaissance involves gathering information from popular platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, now known as X, Facebook, and others to gain insights into individuals, organizations, or targets. LinkedIn is a professional networking platform, making it valuable for understanding an individual's or organization's professional connections, work history, skills, and affiliations. Researchers analyze LinkedIn profiles, connections, endorsements, and posts. This information aids in profiling individuals, identifying potential insider threats, and assessing an entity's professional network. This is a practical demonstration of social media reconnaissance. So, similar to the previous stages in our passive reconnaissance, where we try to find more information about our target by analyzing their websites, their services, their applications, and their name servers. This portion is all about physical penetration testing and finding anything that can help us in that process. So many of the popular social media websites like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, these can be used to gather information about our targets. So there is no methodology for this. You build yourself with experience. But there's one thing you need to make sure that you have to know is that you should know what you're looking for, and we're always looking for something that can help us find information about our target, find more information about our target. For example, any interesting information which can help us in our penetration test. It can be any information that can help us in a physical penetration test, or something that can help us in our network penetration test. So, for example, this is the first example is of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually very important because most of the time, if you are hired by a company to do a penetration test, you can that company must be registered on LinkedIn, and the employees of the companies often are available on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a pleasure for finding information. So, for example, in this case, we'll look at an example both employees uh, and companies. Companies do not have a staunch policy against displaying company badges, and why is that? Why is that crucial? Because anyone, uh, any hacker hovering on LinkedIn, looking at trying to do reconnaissance on the company trying to hack it, can look for employees who display their badges or any information which can actually give them a way to penetrate company's infrastructure. So, for example, we will look at Microsoft. This is actually one of the most popular companies in the world. So, just by going into the Microsoft company's page, we can look for different stuff like people. We can look how many employees are there, and we can look for employees. We can look for posts made by Microsoft, and for example, images. Can find if we find anything interesting in here, we can look jobs. For example, just using these job profiles, we can actually understand what kind of tools are being used by Microsoft. So we look at some IT job. For example, just with this, we can understand in this job that the person needs to be able to uh, use TensorFlow and PyTorch and deep learning knowledge, Hadoop, Spark, and this can give you an insight of what kind of things are being used by the company. For example, in this case, this is the cloud solution architect AI platform, and we can see something being mentioned here that the person who is applying for this job uh, needs to have some expertise on Azure AI platform, OpenAI, Azure AI services, machine learning, technical expertise in this platform, Azure cognitive services, speech, machine learning, and equivalent. And this can give us all of this, just this information can give us a lot of insight on the targeting, just on a application level. And I'm not even talking about the physical penetration testing, which we can do. And now we will go to that question. For example, we go to the like section, and you can see this is actually very bad. She has actually displayed her uh, employee badge openly, and anybody can copy it, clone it, and then they can use to get entry into the any premises of Microsoft, or even there are in some cases, some people even use uh, Microsoft employee badges, fake Microsoft badges, to enter other companies. And those companies, when they receive these guys, they just think that these guys are actual Microsoft employers. They are for tech support, but they're just fake employees. And they just use this the name of Microsoft, the credibility of Microsoft to get their. So this is very bad practice. Again, this is a bad practice. Employers which companies do not actually have a good policy about. And for example, we can look just by chairmen and CEO of Microsoft. Okay. And for example, if we just go to the images, we can look at different examples. And again, this is also an example. We can just zoom, and we can see that again, this should not be uh, this should not be portrayed on LinkedIn. This should not be available on LinkedIn because this is a very bad practice. Again, somebody can copy these values and they can get their way around. Twitter provides real-time insights into an entity's thoughts, interests, and interactions. It's useful for tracking news, trends, and public sentiment. Social media reconnaissance on Twitter involves analyzing tweets, followers, retweets, and mentions. Researchers use this data for threat intelligence and trend analysis. That's our second example. I have this Twitter account, and actually, I'm going to make it interesting. So, for example, we have this challenge, and it is a very interesting challenge that will not only be very engaging for you, very interesting for you, but also will teach you how we find information and how one piece of information can lead to another. So there's a challenge we are investigating into a MSP breach, data breach, which is basically managed service provider. So any company that provides different services to other companies, for example, mostly IT services, security services, these are guidelines. So for example, we just have a Twitter hacker, right? And we need to find this info. So for example, this is the hacker who actually breached this company, uh, was involved in the data breach of the company. And we need to find the first name, last name, age, country, interest, hacker's employer, company, the hacker website in real life, not as a black hat, and their position on the company. So this is going to be very interesting. So for example, we just have the Twitter handle, for the LinkedIn, and we will actually search for that. You can see we have it. And for beginners, we have nothing to do like that. So we have the handle. So what we can do, we can actually do a image search, reverse image, because this looks like, also because this is a CTF, so there must be clues here. So this is an interesting thing. If you know, it seems intriguing, and this image seems interesting. So we can do a reverse image search on it. We can look for comments on this if you can find anything that people have. Just yes, we can find out to the benefit. So if you go into the like section, we realize that some people have replied to this ID and they're talking about something called a head school flow and Dixon United. And there also there's someone asking about the penetration testing industry, and a guy named Jack. And question implies that Jack is the CEO of the company this person is working at. And so, right, so far we have the right lead, but we have nothing else. So what we can do is that we can search net at the groups, and we can actually look for the website. Let's see if we can find like that out. So find found a lot of things here. Like at this page, scheme architecture, these are important, very interesting social bit. But this blogger profile is very interesting. So we can, actually, this is very interesting. You can see that the same images used here that was on the profile of the hacker. So this is very interesting. You can try to explore this website, but I'll try to make it quick actually. So this is basically a rabbit hole, but this is very interesting. So again, we have the same image. So this is again that correlates with the LinkedIn profile, the Twitter profile. So okay, that's that hacker is the female, and she has given her location, but it's included. And always when you have this kind of information, it's always better to use a tool. Tool that is it is called Cybersecurity, which is basically a tool which supports almost all kinds of encoding and decoding schemes. So we can actually find out what kind of encoding scheme it is. So if you don't know what it is, you can use the magic. But we know this just by experience. I know that this is hex encoded because it has numbers and alphabets, but uh, it's ABCD up to F. I don't see any alphabet above F, and that means that it is hex. So but it already okay. So we now have a website. You can load it actually. So as you can see, this is very interesting. How one piece of information uh, correlated with the other, and now we have this blogspot blog, and we have uh, because we found out that that hacker was female. So this looks like a blog of a female. If we go to her about section, we can see that she's female. She's a junior penetration tester. Okay, that is very interesting. She's from United Kingdom. And again, if you go into their security blog and check the posts, because of this, very interesting. So hi, my name is Sam. I'm 23, working within the cybersecurity industry. So this is very interesting. And if we probe around, she has some experience with some adversary groups, some hacker groups, and she has studied cybersecurity and forensics. And she works at Film and Security Inc. as a junior penetration tester. And she's talking about Zach and the. So this, as you can see, we are like 100% sure that she was the same person involved in the database because here she shared this picture and she's implying that there's some mystery about the image. And then we went onto this, you can say, temporary blog. And because this is a challenge, a CTF capture the flag, so it is gamified. And from here we found her location, which is this. And as you can see from our questions, we have all the information here. We know her name, Sammy Woods. We know her age 23, country and kingdom. Interests are also given. We have security, programming, technology, gaming, photography, camping, and then the employers, filming, and hackers position in Juniper system. So just by doing some social media reconnaissance, in this case, we already had the social media profile, but as we uh, observed in the previous lectures, we also use some OSINT using search engine, and we found a lot of information. And this might be something new to you, and these skills you pick up along the journey as you grow in experience. You don't have to be anxious about it, and that you have to learn everything from the beginning. You just need to learn the basics, basic rules and techniques, and then you build upon it. And at the end, you have a target. Being a good ethical hacker, we have actually found who was responsible for the data breach. Now we come to our conclusion phase. We are done with our passive reconnaissance pursuit. In this section, we learn the importance of reconnaissance for ethical hackers. Observe that how much passive information is available right at our fingertips. And we also look at different ways to collect that passive information. In the next section, we'll focus on scanning and vulnerability assessment, which is part of our active reconnaissance phase. So fasten your seatbelts. It is only going to get more interesting from here. Happy hacking. See you on the other side.